According to the Australian Institute of Criminology's report on sex work, around half of migrant sex workers enter Australia as international students, but end up in the industry because they can't afford the school fees or the high cost of living. With a large and ever-growing Chinese international student community, this trend is continuing to grow. Let's try to understand this phenomenon by going into Kay's story.
钱啊，在悉尼生活的成本太贵了。然后在留学之前，中介就跟我讲过，打工的钱是可以 cover 掉所有的生活费的。但我来了之后就发现太难了。
Kay had no time to enjoy the beautiful Australian scenery or get a feel for Australian culture due to the pressure of the tough international student environment in Sydney. Due to the language barrier, it is often too difficult for international students to find a part-time job related to their major. Instead, they work in underpaid jobs, earning between $8 and $12 an hour. International students, particularly those from Asian countries, do not have a proper understanding of the wage and industrial standards. International students often work extra hours beyond the 40 hours per fortnight maximum permitted by their student visas in order to make ends meet. Comparatively, the market price for a Chinese student sex worker is around $300 to $450 per hour.
餐厅打工，没有人会就是按照法律的要求，一个礼拜工作20个小时的，因为你如果只工作20个小时，以他们的工资完全是不够你来租房啊，还有你的生活开销的。但是我就觉得做了这个之后，我可能就会有别的时间，就是省出来很大一部分时间吧，去做一些别的活动啊，或者是做一些别的那种对我的专业有帮助的工作。因为我一周可能就只做1到2次，但是那些钱是完全可以帮我 cover 掉我的生活的，所以我也不会很在乎我去做的另外一些对我专业有帮助的工作有没有配啊什么的，因为钱已经不是我的一个很大的障碍了。
Kay is not the only one. A lot of young Chinese girls come to Australia alone and put themselves in a very desperate situation, and then they go into the sex industry.
交学费的压力，可能要移民的压力，做了我们这个行业1个月赚个几万块钱就不做了。
很多人觉得身体是不能被出卖浪费的，但我觉得在我这个年纪吧，在我这个阶段，这么多的时间才不应该被浪费吧。而且最重要的是，我好像知道这个是合法的，所以它也算是一部分原因吧。
A lot of Chinese girls like Kay choose this legal job in Sydney, but they choose it in a very dangerous way. They find a sex work agency through the Chinese social media app called WeChat and start their sex work career quickly and recklessly. During the whole time they work, they never meet anyone from the agency. All communication is online. They go to one apartment to do sex work by appointment without any protection or safety nets.
就他也没有 check 我的个人信息啊，就在网上问了一下我的身高体重什么的，然后有客人来的时候，他就告诉我去什么什么 Chinatown 旁边的一家公寓，第一次的时候是在那儿，然后他把钥匙就放在了那个公寓的信箱里，然后我就去按时间拿到钥匙，然后就在房间里等客人。
Clients pay by cash. The commission for the agency is left in the apartment.
怎么说呢？有一次我接的一个客人，然后就是在过程当中吧，他提了一个我不是很能接受的要求，我就说不行。然后他当时跟我讲说，中介说可以啊，然后就一直骂我，说话特别难听，然后也特别凶。我当时也挺怕的，就答应他了。但怎么说，我当时特别崩溃，然后就哭的，唉。然后他就说：“你这样的话，你没办法做就不做了，做不了你就别做啊，就这样。”然后但是只投了一点钱，那些钱我还得给中介。
However, as a foundational member of the Australian Prostitutes Collective New South Wales and forerunner of the Sex Workers Outreach Project New South Wales, Julie Bates states that these kinds of agents who run dangerous and uncertain operations are not illegal.
27 years ago, after many years of fighting and battling to bring about a change in law for decriminalisation, we achieved that in 1995. So what that effectively means, the new regulators of the sex industry or sex services premises is local council. So what happens then, you get approval for the land use. So it's not about brothels being moral or immoral or good or bad and different. It's really about land use. Yeah. So there are many regulators once you decriminalise. We've got the Workcover Authority now that can step in and look at labour rights issues. Council is the land use. And taxation, of course, you can, most sex workers pay tax but not as a sex worker because you don't want to disclose that. So there are many regulators under decriminalisation. So if you don't have that DA as a commercial sex services premises, you are considered unauthorised, simply unauthorised, not illegal. There's no such thing. You've decriminalised.
Chinese underground brothels are widespread. Some websites are specially used for publishing advertisements. Without verification, all the agents there are without development applications.
非法的，就是说没有一些 license 的，它现在已经非常多，竞争非常大，它的入市门槛特别低，只要有一个交流的软件，然后呢放几张真照片也好，假照片也好，只要通过附近人，这些就可以召集一些客人。这样子的话，就是现在这个市场特别乱，也对于一些合法的有牌照的商家造成一些威慑力吧。
No, it's shocking. The problem is because the regulators, local government, have made it so difficult that brothels have been historically established in what I call their natural habitat, which is in shopping precincts, upstairs above shops, not out in the bloody boondocks. So most of these councils, and the word is out now to most people that want to run a sex industry business, that don't waste your time. Don't even bother putting in a DA. My practice of 17 years, the majority of the DAs have had to win their right to exist by going to the Land and Environment Court after council refusal. Even if they were in the industrial zone, they would find a way to refuse them. So they go to the court, there's another $50,000. If you're lucky, you get approval. So then you're heaped with all these conditions of consent. They want ensuite bathrooms in every workroom. So they're still they're clueless. So that sent a message to people. Why would you bother? Why would you bother? Let us back to where we've been traditionally, and maybe then these people don't have to set up these private apartments, which are really, really working it as an underground industry. And that is very disturbing to me, I have to say, very disturbing indeed. Sex work organisations are set up and equipped as peer educators to try and reach some of those people to help them understand a range of support, provide a range of support issues for them. But it is disturbing, but it is the way the regulators have taken it on, and so people will try and find ways and means to get around it. You can't stop industry. You can't stop people wanting to make a living, and I am very concerned about that state of affairs, I have to say. But I'm not blaming those people. I'm blaming the way the regulators have treated it.
康特局说过这个事情，最终的结果不太如人意，就没有管，最后就无非就是去检查一下房，最后来个 notice 没了。像前段时间，去年，你看 Central Park 他们曝光，然后 The Key 都曝光，包括现在唐人街也某一个地方也是一栋楼都有的现象，对啊，那最终呢，那个人发现了，最终我再换个地方呗，我今天换这儿，明天换那里，你还能每天去举报这个事情，然后你的生意已经慢慢的下滑了，你再去管外面这个事情， 要么就是政府大力的全部给弄掉，可能我们会好一些。那正常的现在来说，澳洲的人口越来越多了，真的蛮难的。
Despite the gap between different languages and social media, getting evidence is a challenge even for the local councils. Some councils even pay sex spies to get evidence, which in itself is very controversial.
There's a great story. There was a private dick once that was going out busting brothels like that, and he kept all of his reports, and I've seen these reports. You have to write these reports about, it's a blow-by-blow account of what happened when you went into that brothel. And they're actually coercing those women. They're trying to encourage them to offer other services. It's not like the women are going, oh, I'll do this and that and everything else. They're coercing and they're sort of dragging services out of them. So this guy had kept all his reports. I went in at 9 o'clock and I asked that woman if she would do me a blowjob, and she said, yes, we use a condom. Anyway, he kept all these reports under the matrimonial bed in his home with his wife. And one day, while he was out, she decided to do a clean-up, and she found all these reports, and she divorced him the next day. So it was very good. But he was getting his kicks out of what he was doing, you know. These men are being paid money, an hourly rate, to go in, and I see this as almost as tantamount to sexual assault, because I would not give consent to someone coming in and tricking me to have sex, because he's going to use it against the place I'm working at. So I see it as sexual assault. It's non-consensual sex, really.
Casting all the market and regulation aside, for girls like Kay, there is just one reason why they choose underground brothels.
这很简单啊，让越少人知道我做这个就越好啊。那些合法的中介肯定会有一些什么老板啊、同事什么的，而且最重要的是他会要我的个人信息。就是怎么讲？虽然这个是合法的，但是大家看来，普遍看来还是觉得这是一个不好的事情。我不想就是它影响我以后的生活。
Where you are as a sex worker, as an activist as I am, when you arrive at a place in time when no one's really going to be harmed too much by your disclosure, you're pretty much duty bound to put your hand up and say, I'm a sex worker, I don't have a problem with this, it's your problem, you know, this is a job. Yeah? So when you can, you do.
Unlike Julie's calm and boldness, Kay develops a new personality and mentality when dealing with this job.
做这个的时候，我通常都会觉得这是另外一个自己。